What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Refinement. Brian and I are on week number 3 now of our tip video for the year, 52 episodes this year. So this week, we want to talk about inventory system, which is big. It's on a lot of people's New Year's resolutions. Change your inventory system. I modeled my inventory system after the Facebook group because a lot of people have a sequential system. And I think you are switching over. What's been your experience, and have you switched your whole system yet?
Yeah, I think inventory is massive, and I think there's different stages. If you're in our group and get these tips from the beginning, like you're saving so much time. You're shortening that learning curve because most of us start with a pile on the floor, maybe takes over our closet. Once that grows, then we add shelves. Like for the longest time, I was at shelves with boxes with SKUs like a A1 up to, I think I got to like A500 and something before I switched. And when I saw your system, well, number one, you use the Husky shelves, those big heavy metal shelves that hold a lot of inventory. So I made that switch. And then I was using an 18 by 14 by 14 box, and that was okay. And the boxes were like A500, and within that box they would have their own specific number, like A500.1 to maybe A500.20. But the problem was, there was, I guess, a couple of problems. Number one, when you're trying to find an item from the box, like it gets everywhere, and there was times I would have to take a box out and almost dump it, dig out half the box to find the item.
Mhm.
And then number two, not often, but enough to be a nuisance. Like I couldn't find items. I would make a mistake with it would go into the wrong box, or I wouldn't put the correct SKU in the listing. And so I could waste 30 minutes or even more if you can't find an item. And that's a massive defect for eBay. So when I saw your system, because you sell clothing, and you also said shoes work in that, and that's what I sell. So I switched over to the 30 by 8 by 8 box with the Ziploc poly bags. And I have the numeric SKU. Like right now, my next one is 1,262. And so it's a file cabinet, like from the back to the front. It's easy while you're listing to put them away. And even more important, when an item sells, it's really quick and easy to find and to pull. And my last thought on this, Sunday, I did my first consolidation where, over a week or depending on how often you sell, those boxes become semi-empty. And so, consolidating, moving those together to free up space. And I freed up like 10 boxes Sunday, and it didn't take long to do that. So I think this inventory system for what we sell is really good. And that hack is allowing me to save time, and more time allows you to get more listings and or to finish earlier. And those are both great things.
So just to explain everyone the inventory system, it's a sequential system, meaning it starts at 0 and goes to infinity. And if you run out of numbers, which you can just purchase on Amazon, you can buy a roll of numbers, or you can make them yourself. You can just add a letter to the front or add one more digit, and you can continue the numbers forever. So I had the system of bins where I watched on YouTube people use those clear plastic bins that you can see through. And I thought that would be a great idea. I added those a long time ago, 5 years ago, and they still get kind of messy. And if something falls on the bottom of the bin, it can easily get lost, or it can fall behind the bin. So just make sure whatever inventory system you have, if you do sequential, then it's easy to go through once a week while you're consolidating and make sure everything is in the right place. It doesn't take that long to just confirm they're chronological 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 when you're putting it back in the box and consolidating once a week to make sure. Now, one thing I thought is pretty fascinating is I haven't seen a shoe seller adopt the system yet. And it's a lot easier to do this with shoes. And if you have a box that's 8 inches wide, I think any size shoe can fit in it, because if it's too wide, which is extremely rare, you could just put one pair of boots, one boot behind one boot, and that will be enough to fit boots. Even rollerblades, anything will fit in the system. No one in the group yet, I think, with shoes has done it yet. And I think it makes a big difference because you use all the space and the mental clarity of knowing exactly where it is is massive. I'm excited to see if somebody in the shoe store, if somebody in the shoe category does 1,000 shoes with the system.
I think for shoes, it's amazing because I am like this year I'm trying to add more shoes. Like I'm not going to give up on clothes, but adding in shoes. And for example, the other day, like say for example 1000 was a pair of jeans, and then with the shoes, because if you kind of invert the shoes like a puzzle piece, most sneakers will fit like this, and then you put them in the clear poly bag and they fit perfectly. So I had like a pair of jeans, a pair of shoes, a shirt, and they fit perfectly. And if you just did all shoes, it would be amazing. Like if I was nothing but a shoe seller, I would be all about this system for sure. Versus like, in my current system, I have a lot of shoes in my garage, and they're in those clear bins
Mhm.
that you were talking about that I use. And I'm having to kind of dig around there, like double checking the size, making sure if I got a couple of pair of Nikes, is this the right Nike? Versus this, all I have to do is look for that SKU sticker number, and it's easy to pull. And if for some reason, I don't even know how you would mess it up, but if for some reason you messed it up and you left off a sticker, well, all you have to do is sort your listings in eBay by SKU, and you could see exactly which one it would be.
Absolutely. So, just a quick tip for people who are switching over systems. For me, for a while, what I did was I just switched them over slowly over time. I just did a box or two a day, but then I just got frustrated and did the whole thing. So it does take a while, and I think everyone in the group that's out there that started their store over, it doesn't take that long to get continuous sales. I think it only takes 2 weeks. If you start listing, let's say you turn your entire store off and you want to start your system starting over at zero. So you want a 10 a day listing habit. So you go 0 to 10 first day, 11 to 20 second day, and you fit 10 items in each box. After 10 days of starting from zero, you will automatically start having regular sales. Even 14 days into it, you will have listed 140 items after just 2 weeks, and you will have at least one sale per day. And if you don't, reach out to us, tag us, and we will help you, because that is enough traction. Because in the beginning, you have a hodgepodge of items that will never sell in your store. And I just did a store review yesterday, and I think so many people missed the point. There's a gentleman who copied my store. He has 61% monthly sell through rate. And some of the items he's pricing at are just break even or a few cents profit. And people were complaining. And I was saying, that's the profit on those items. It's not a popular product. It's too common. People still want it, but there's no money in that. That item, if he wants it to sell, is going to be 1 penny profit. Other items are going to be more, but it's important to realize that as I don't want to get off too far from the inventory system, but you will start buying things that fit. And that's now I'm not going to buy a bike anymore because it doesn't fit in my box.
Yeah, and last the previous episode we talked about a quality listing, and maybe that's a caveat should put in there, that part the maybe it's because it's obvious. The obvious part of a quality listing is it's an item that's desirable,
Yep.
and based on your model, how many items you want to list, you can control the sell through rate based and your profit based on the items that you're picking, and maybe trying to tie that to inventory. The better quality items that you're reselling that are desirable, that you price correctly and that you store in your inventory, well then they're going to move out of your inventory quickly. And that's I know Tech talks about this a lot, that your storage space is a big factor on what you can do as a reseller. Like how much
Absolutely.
space you have depends on what you can sell.
And if you have a sequential system and you use shelves, let's say occasionally you pick up an ottoman because you don't listen to our advice and you're the old me and you're a squirrel. So you pick up a Herman Miller ottoman that sells for $800 and you pay 24 at a garage sale. That's okay. Just put it in order on the shelf and you'll be fine. It'll still fit, as long as it's not. And if it's really ginormous, put it on the very top shelf, and it's fine. You will be able to find it. You won't lose it, and you can just use the shelf system for any size item. The only exception would be like skis or a canoe. Those wouldn't fit on a shelf, but 99% of the things will fit on a shelf.
Yeah, like I have a small shelf in here, like when I was more squirrel braining, even though I still have those issues time to time for those random size. Like I don't think you if you have a small section of that, I guess it's okay. But even better, try like you said, try to keep away from that stuff. But if it's something small that's maybe not in your niche, like maybe you find a Walkman. I mean, it's the same thing. Like if I found a small item that's not clothing or shoes, it would still fit in my system as long as it would fit in that size box in that poly bag.
This is something that is really blowing my mind. I actually don't know the amount of time that I save with the new inventory system is mind blowing. I did that video um, in the group of me picking items. I think I can pick 100 items in 10 minutes. Like
Wow.
it's so fast because so my I hold the phone in my left hand to pick, and I just walk by and pull with my right hand. But my worker said that that's because I have a longer reach or something. It's easier for me to do it. So my worker puts it around a lanyard around his neck. So he wears the phone so he can use both hands to pull the box out and pull the item up. But as far as the amount of time saved, it's unbelievable. And it totally makes up for the time. People said that they don't want to consolidate the boxes. It doesn't take very long. I have a huge inventory and it does not take long to consolidate and manually look. Are these in order? That doesn't take long.
Now, and you gave another good tip, that how you sort them by SKU, and so that when you're pulling them, you're basically, I think you said, making a lap. So you're
One
being
lap.
efficient
Yeah.
as you pull them also, right?
Yeah. One lap. So you can go from the beginning to the end. And I think that's huge. You're not going back and forth. And if you wear a headlamp, I recommend wearing a headlamp. Even if you have good lighting, it's just easier to see. Maybe it's because I'm getting old, but the wear a headlamp, hold the phone in one hand, walk over. You can pick, do all in order, and picking all your items at the same time is massive. That's so much faster than picking a couple, shipping a couple, picking a couple, shipping a couple. That's fun, but that's being busy instead of productive.
Yeah. Well, I haven't converted my complete system, so I have a mixture. Like my old system is the bins, and the new system is what we were talking about. And I've noticed like pulling items from the new system versus the bins, it's like night and day. It's so much more efficient.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, Brian, let's wrap this up. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on YouTube at Texas Treasures.
Sweet. All right. I'll link Brian's Brian's channel in the comments. So, everyone, subscribe to Brian. Let us know in the comment section any other tips and tricks that you want us to follow. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.